The most vehicles made in a single quarter to date, the largest number of vehicles delivered in a single quarter to date, and the largest net income, operating cash flow and free cash flow it has ever had, leading to a record revenue of $10.7 billion US. Oh, and a confirmed redesign of the Model S and Model X that takes the best bits of the Model 3, Model Y, and the weirdest bits of the upcoming Tesla Roadster, and smushes them all together. Welcome to the Tesla fourth quarter 2020 earnings report. And buckle in, it's gonna be fun. We're starting, of course, with the usual disclaimer. Everything in today's script is based on the publicly available Tesla earnings report available through the investor relations section of Tesla's website. As Tesla itself notes, its financials are unaudited at the point of this release, but they are the official quarterly figures that will be submitted to the SEC. With so much to look at, I think we're going to follow our usual pattern. We're going to deal with the figures first, and then we're going to look at the news that was released alongside the financials. And because we're preparing this ahead of the quarterly earnings call, which is taking place right now, there may be additional snippets that are not included in this video. But of course, we will cover them in our weekly news roundup show this coming weekend. Production figures first, with a total quarterly production of 179,757 vehicles, split between 163,660 Model 3 and Model Ys combined, and 16,097 Model S and Model X combined. Tesla's quarterly production was its best yet, a massive 71% net increase on last year. This pushes Tesla's yearly production for 2020 to 509,737 cars, which is an amazing achievement that is far in excess of any previous record that Tesla has set for production. For deliveries during the fourth quarter, the company managed to deliver 180,667 cars. That's split between 161,701 Model 3 and Model Y combined, and 18,966 Model S and Model X combined. This grew the total yearly delivery figure that Tesla managed to 499,647 vehicles in total. And in case you're interested, the delivery figures for the fourth quarter for Model S and Model X were so much higher than its production is because Tesla produced far more Model S and Model X in the previous quarter than it delivered, and because of that refresh to the Model S and Model X lineup, which of course I'll come to in a moment. Another two figures worth noting when it comes to vehicles is the increase in the number of lease vehicles operating at the end of the fourth quarter, 72,089 vehicles, which is up 44% from the same time last year, as well as a change in the number of days supply in Tesla's global vehicle inventory. It's now approximately 11 days. For those who don't know, that latter figure is used by the automotive industry as a measure of how well a car company is doing in the sales market for a given model. If it has a large global inventory, say in excess of 3 or 4 months worth of cars, it may be producing more cars than it needs to. If it's got under the industry norm of 2 months or thereabouts, then it needs to either make more vehicles or it's preparing to change its lineup. To support the growing number of Teslas on the road, Tesla expanded its global service and store locations to 523 sites in the quarter, up from 466 in Q3. The mobile service fleet underwent a modest growth too, up from 780 in Q3 to 823 in Q4. Similarly, Tesla rapidly expanded its supercharger support in the quarter, increasing the total number of supercharger sites from 2,181 to 2,564, and the number of supercharger connections from 19,437 to 23,277. That massive change is thanks to the increased number of mega supercharger sites that Tesla switched on for the first time during the fourth quarter. One final figure regarding vehicles and productions comes courtesy of Tesla's installed annual capacity, or how many vehicles it can theoretically produce if all of its facilities are operating at full tilt. Up from last quarter, Tesla now has the capability to reach an annual production capacity of 1.05 million cars per year, thanks to expansion of its Giga Shanghai. This is an amazingly important figure to note, as it shows that even without completion of Giga Berlin or Giga Texas, both of which will be coming online this year, Tesla should be good to double its vehicle production, all things being equal. But it's not just car production that has dramatically expanded. During 2020, Tesla says its solar deployments grew to 205 megawatts, which is up 18% on its previous year. Similarly, its battery storage sales soared in the fourth quarter, up 199% when compared to quarter 4 of 2019, to 1.584 gigawatt hours of deployed storage. With production figures done, let's talk money. In the fourth quarter, Tesla's total automotive revenue grew to $9.314 billion, a massive increase on the $7.61 billion in the previous quarter. Take away the costs associated with actually making the vehicles, and you're left with a total automotive gross profit of $2.244 billion, which is up 56% on the same quarter last year. Of note is Tesla's gross automotive margin, which did fall from 27.7% in the third quarter to 24.1% in the fourth. This primarily is because Tesla sold fewer high-end models and more entry-level and mid-range cars in that last quarter than the one before, and these cars usually have a lower gross automotive margin than the higher-end models. Also worth noting is the $401 million that Tesla earned from the sale of regulatory credits during the fourth quarter, up from Q3, but not the $428 million of Q2. There was once a time when the sale of regulatory credits was the difference between Tesla making a profit and turning a loss, but these days, frankly, it's just extra spending money that takes advantage of a law that allows automakers to buy their way out of fines for not making EVs, which just happens to benefit Tesla a great deal. I'm not going to break down all of the revenues because recounting the entire balance sheet would take a lot of time. Suffice to say, after you've taken care of all of the expenses that Tesla had during the quarter, which of course includes building and construction and expansion work at Giga Shanghai, Giga Berlin and Giga Texas, not to mention all of the research and development that's going into everything from new vehicles to Tesla's new battery production lines, Tesla's balance sheet is very healthy indeed. In terms of total revenues, Tesla beat Wall Street's expectations of $10.5 billion, managing $10.7 billion instead, and it managed to end the quarter with $1.868 billion in free cash flow. Which brings us to profits. Using the non-GAAP method, Tesla's profit was $903 million, which is equivalent to about 80 cents per share. Using the GAAP method, Tesla's profit is listed at $270 million or 24 cents per share. Figures which, of course, have already been adjusted to take into account Tesla's 5-for-1 stock split that took place in August last year. While Tesla did beat Wall Street on its revenue, it did miss Wall Street's profit expectations of $1.04 per share using the non-GAAP method. Figures out the way though, let's talk about those long-awaited refreshes for Model S and Model X. And to remind you, I'm filming this just as Tesla's shareholder call is taking place, and it's going to take 2 or 3 hours to finish producing the video, so if there is something that I've missed, you'll know why. Additionally, Tesla's press portal no longer seems to work, and there's no video of the new cars available at the time of the video being filmed. I have reached out and asked, but right now we only have a few photos to go on, so sorry. Both Model S and Model X get a complete interior makeover, with both cars getting the same landscape central display layout as Model 3 and Model Y. Interestingly, unlike Model 3 and Model Y, there is still a driver dash in place. But instead of the old Tesla Model S and Model X steering wheel and controls, there's a funky half wheel that's reminiscent of the prototype second-generation Tesla Roadster's wheel. This not only makes it easier to see the dashboard behind the wheel, certainly when the wheel is set straight, but it also means I think that most of the controls for Model X and S have now moved to the center touchscreen, as with the rest of Tesla's lineup. Also worthy of note is a new door control arrangement with the same push-button release found in Model 3 and Model Y. And following the Model 3 and Model Y aesthetic, the AC vents are now really well hidden within the minimalist dash layout. In the rear of both Model S and Model X, there is another surprise: a central rear screen mounted to the back of the front center armrest console. Like many other luxury vehicles, this might seem good at first, especially with nobody in that center seat, but for those with families, that center screen seems perfectly in line with the kicking feet of an angry child throwing a tantrum. Inside and out, there are other styling tweaks that I'm not going into, but aside from a few nips and tucks here and there, the Model S and Model X are evolutionary rather than revolutionary in their exterior design. What is revolutionary, though, is the all-new drivetrain and battery pack design that underpins both of these refreshes. While Tesla hasn't gone out and out, at least as far as I can tell at the time of filming this, to claim that the new design is a structural battery pack that Tesla has been promising, I'm going to stick my neck out and say that's what we're looking at. Model S now starts from $79,990, offering the dual-motor all-wheel drive setup. This has a 412-mile or 663-kilometer range per charge, a top speed of 155 miles per hour, approximately 250 kilometers per hour, and a sprint time of 3.1 seconds. Next up is the tri-motor all-wheel drive Model S Plaid, coming in at an eye-watering $119,990. It promises a range of 390 miles or 627 kilometers or thereabouts per charge, a top speed of 200 miles per hour, which is 322 kph, and a 1.99 second sprint time. Then, at the very top end, is a range-topping Plaid Plus. Spaceballs, anyone? It's basically the Model S Plaid on steroids and promises at least 520 miles, 837 kilometers per charge, the same top speed as the Plaid, and a sub 1.99 second sprint time. The price for that? Just shy of $140,000. For the Tesla Model X, there's of course a long-range variant with dual motors and 360-mile or 580-kilometer-ish range and a 3.8 second sprint time. That will cost you $89,990. There's also a Plaid version, there's no Plaid Plus for Model X, with 340-mile, 547-kilometer range, 2.5 second sprint time, and a price tag of $119,990. And that leaves us where? Well, if you can wipe the tears away from your eyes after hearing those prices, I think it's clear that Tesla is eager to separate Model S and Model X from Model 3 and Model Y. The former are now very much high-end, high-ticket luxury vehicles, and their sticker price and performance specs are clearly an attack on two particular electric competitors: the Porsche Taycan and the upcoming, yet-to-launch Lucid Air sedan. While I am extremely happy to see Tesla bringing an upgrade to both S and X, it was long overdue after all, I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of disappointed that Tesla hasn't brought a more affordable variant of each to market for those for whom a Model 3 or Model Y is just too small. Tesla faithful will, I'm guessing, eagerly place orders for these upgraded cars, but the redesign also pushes the Model S and Model X further away from conventional vehicle aesthetics and prices, something that will upset those who prefer their cars are more functional and less tech-centric. The range, though, and the performance specifications for all of these new S and X variants are simply bonkers and ensures Tesla keeps its performance crown and its range crown. But yet again, it's not the lower cost, lower price, more affordable car that we've been waiting for Tesla to produce for years. That, I have no doubt, is coming, but at a point where the world is crying out for more affordable EVs built with Tesla's new lower-cost battery technology, integrated structural batteries, and superbly efficient drivetrains, another high-end car that most can't afford is, frankly, frustrating, especially following a year of a global pandemic where people have lost their jobs, where there's heightened economic uncertainty, and the need to transition the world's fleet to electric, something that has been Tesla's goal from day one, has never been needed more than it is now. And to be clear, every single automaker that makes a car above $50,000, $60,000 or $70,000, Tesla, Lucid, Rivian, Hummer, and pretty much every other automaker are all perpetuating the same thing, making rich people's electric cars. I hope this year each and every one of those makes dramatic steps to change that. That said, what I have said can't and shouldn't take away from what has been an incredible quarter and a truly amazing year for Tesla. I think everyone should celebrate Tesla's successes, because without it, many of the electric vehicles that exist in abundance on the road today from rival automakers simply wouldn't exist. Tesla has shown us that electric vehicles can be profitable, fun, fast, sexy, and desirable. I just hope that someone can show they can also be affordable for the masses. Soon. That's it for today. As always, thanks to the folks on my right for being our $15 to $49 a month Patreon supporters. Special thanks to our $50 a month Patreons. That's John Lyons, Regine Fellows, Jeffrey Songster, Anonymous Freak, Paul Conway, Laura Sanborn, Anthony Coates, and Tesla in the Gong. And our deepest gratitude to our $100 a month Patreon supporters. That's Marcel Ward, Reggie Watts, JP Fagerback, Sean Ueda, Will Graylin, and Ian. You can join all of these amazing Patreon supporters by following the link and becoming one below. Or you can send us a donation through Ko-fi or Bitcoin. You'll also find a link to our free Discord server. It's great fun in there, so sign up and come and join in the fun. And if you'd like some swag, please do check our merch over at Redbubble. We've got plenty of cool stuff to choose. After the names have finished scrolling, you will see a suggestion for a new video to watch, so give it a go if you haven't yet, and I will be back very soon. Thanks for joining me, and as always, keep evolving!